Good morning, everyone. And as always, welcome back to Doing It Scared. Today's going to be a little interesting. I had a little bit of a trouble sleeping last night. So I literally have not slept, but for some reason I can't sleep. So if I'm struggling with words or I go into a daisy fog, you guys will know why. Okay. So today, what I decided, I have had this inspiration. I got a gift a while back from a team leader in one of my past positions. And she gave me this little teeny tiny shrinky dink thing, like a little key, like tiny thing with just a few little flowers on it and an encouraging word. Okay. And so she gave that to me and I just hooked it on my keychain. But recently it broke, and every time I looked at that, I thought of her. Now, I don't want to cut out and do tiny shrinky dinks. However, I do like the idea of random, what I'm going to call kindness cards or snarky cards or whatever I come up with. Okay. And those are supposed to be just little playing card size, and they're just kind of little reminders that you can leave for somebody to let them know you're thinking of them or that you think they're awesome or whatever that may be. So I'm going to make one sheet, which is going to be 6 cards. I hate to say it, already started, just because this is going to take way more than the hour that we have. So I wanted to get started on them. When I show you, I can give you a quick look. You can see all of this, right? I got notes all over it. I've started that first square, erasing some of my notes. So I'm going to probably just go from card to card and work. We'll see. Again, like I have all the notes, so I don't want to lose my notes. So some of the things, I'm not going to show you every single color that I'm using. I'm just going to say this is a light turquoise, or this is a sheer gold, or we love this this burnt yellow, whatever, because you can use whatever colors you want. I'm picking and choosing from what I have close available, and then who knows, I can make changes in up to the last minute, as everybody knows. So black and white, always going to have your base. It's going to help you mix new colors, make them darker, make them lighter. I am going for like a mixed medium kind of feel. They're not going to be 3D by any means where stuff's hanging off, but I do like that kind of mixed media collage look. And so right now that's what I'm really inspired with. So I do have a few things. I'll just show you. I don't know that I'm going to use them. You've seen me use bubble wrap before for texture. I do have, I have 2 small brushes. I've got a medium brush. I don't know that I'll use this. If I do, I'm thinking I might do a wash, so that might come in handy then. Anyway, so I've got some dotting tools. I've already, taped off everything with washi tapes. They have clear borders. I do have a sponge dapper because I do have some stencils that I may or may not use based on whatever fits my whim. And then lastly, but not least, because I want these to be inspirational phrases, I also have some that's going to be a sassy pack and whatnot. And I don't do lettering. I hate it. So I bought this inspirational quotes tablet. It's all backwards, right? But they have some of these, the cutest little stickers that I'm going to be using. So like the one on the top says smiles are like souls for the kisses. Smiles are the soul's kisses, something like that. I can't read. I told you. I bet up on that. Anyway, so we're going to be utilizing these for the words on here. So I'm going to be making the paint part first, right? And then we're going to be moving on into, these will be like the last thing because I have to make sure everything's completely dry. So some of this will be a layering technique as well, as you'll see when I come around to the first one, because I went ahead and outlined it. And I may continue working on that one. I may move on. Y'all, anything can happen today. So, again, I'm here on my own. I don't have a helper. So if you're watching, I see Sandra Johnson is watching. Hi, Sandra. There's I'm sure there might be one or two others of you, or if you are, and I don't notice, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to move the camera so I won't see the pop-ups. Just leave a note in the discussion in the event. Let me know you were here. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. And then I want your thoughts, okay? And thank you so much for joining. For those of you, if this is your first time, it's doing it scared because I haven't done this before. It's just kind of a rough idea in my head. And I do it live with you guys. And then later, if I can't finish what my goal is or what I have set up, then I will post the finished product when it's finished. Usually the same day, but it could be even up to a week, depending. So let's go ahead, and I am going to get everything lined up with my messy status as usual. Trying to look. Oh, it's not up in my thing. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. Give me one more minute. And I tilted wrong. So, and that happens because I'm new to all of this, okay? I can't get it any closer with this stand I have. I'm going to have to start looking at some closer stands. But I'm also looking at this in like 2 inches. So if you can't see very well, let me know. I'll try to clear things up. But this is the first one that I've started. And it's going to be a butterfly. And this quote that I picked out says, "Creativity takes courage." So when I made these notes, I kind of looked on my Pinterest board and found some things that were inspiring to me to decide how I was going to do, and how I was going to do each one, as well as I put like, I don't know if you can see right here, but like this is the note. This said right here, this is the sticker label I'm going to be using. And then you can see these are just rough drafts. Some of these I have color choices to remind me. So I did this last night. It took me about 2 hours just to get the ideas down. So we're going to start, like I said, we're going to stay right here with our butterfly kindness card. Now I am using watercolor paper, and the reason I'm doing that is because it's going to hold acrylic paint really well. Without losing a lot of shape, because eventually I'm going to have all these scanned and be able to put like a kindness card pack out for something for you to buy. It can be a gift. You can have some for your kindness cards in your your little purse, and then you can hand them out if somebody inspires you. Okay. Anyway, that's all the busy talk. Okay. So what I've done is I've started here with a sheer gold, and then I have mixed some light blue and light turquoise, and I've just kind of blended it in. And then this is a dark, it's called midnight blue, or if you want to call it like a dark navy. This is like my favorite blue. I just love the rich tones, and it's not too bright, but it's not too dark. So I did my outline real quick with a skinny brush. So that I knew where I was going to work. So it's not going to be solid. We're just going to kind of see how it turns out going from here. I am going to continue working with the dark blue first. And, if this doesn't work out, then they get thrown away. Anyway, so I do want to do a little more detail on this wing. I didn't get it quite, there we go, as high as I wanted. And again, this outline is just a guide. And now I'm going to start filling in. Now here's the first place I'm going to fill in, because I did decide to widen that. Guys, you might be able to see there's little hairs sticking out. Sometimes that happens with your brushes. I do remember my brushes are being used a lot, because I'm doing workshops and parties and stuff. So when you get a set of brushes, and they're good quality brushes like these that I order from Diverse Woodworking, they should last you like years. But again, I'm always just pulling what I have from my stock. So I don't have a set of brushes per se that I keep on the side for just me. All right, so the color's not coming in super solid, but I'm okay with that, because again, I'm working on the premise that I'm going to be kind of a mixed media type thing. I really love the way this dark blue is up against the gold sheer. I'm going to add some detail here around the outside edge. So this work, you know me, I usually get impatient, so this requires a little bit more detail. I think the reason that I'm able to start and go with it is because I was just so excited about this idea, and I've been thinking about this idea for a long time, just haven't quite figured out how to make it work. So these are playing card size. So this would be like a little deck. I'm also, which you may see next week, I'm not sure. Going to, you can see these are little gift tags. I'm going to create little gift tags as well. And well, you're not going to be able to order the hand painted. Well, you can. You'll just have to call me and we'll do a custom order. I am going to get my images scanned and then I'm going to turn them into stickers and, like you said, little tags and such. I should be in the talks. I'm supposed to confirm today or tomorrow with a little shop in Brooksville where I'm going to have my original art available and probably some of my sample paintings that I've got more than I need of that I do for my paint parties. All right, so I'm liking that so far. Now, I'm not really sure, like I'm going to do, so I have some purples, a magenta, and a red, and I really like those colors. I'm just not sure how much of those colors I want to use. Y'all, if you've been here, you know I have a palette. I love the turquoise, yellow, coral, baby pinks, citrus green, along with this dark navy and turquoises and such. So a lot of times will put something out and then I change my mind. So let's go ahead. I was going to do like this dark purple, and now that I've got this started, it's not my favorite. So I think I am going to move to more of a magenta. I think that will be a nicer look here. So again, this is Poetic Plum, just a dark, deep purple. If you take a look here, at these different bases at the tops, okay, you can see the color. This is a deep, moody, darker purple plum, and this is a brighter purple, okay? So I'm wanting to go with the deeper color that I call it moody. It just makes me feel moody. It kind of speaks to me. And you know what? When the colors start speaking, you gotta listen. Okay, I got another small brush here, and I'm gonna try this one. Yeah, this one. And see if the hairs are a little better. And like I said, typically I wouldn't be using these skinny little brushes, but when you're working with such a small space, it's kind of helpful. So kind of like how I did this here, I'm going to do the same with this dark, dark purple. Not exactly the same. None of this is going to be perfectly even. It's just not my style. I'm not into precision. I just don't have the patience for it. And you can see this plum color. It's going on. I'm really liking the way that it looks. Now you will see where it's not as rich in some areas. That's because I know pretty much a lot of these colors I do have to do 2 coats. Sometimes I don't, but I kind of figured with this, I'm going to want to have a lot of saturation in this color. So I will probably be doing more than 1 coat in a lot of these areas so that you're not seeing all those little brush strokes. And anyway, it will pull together. I'm also not worried or trying to work particularly with patterns being the same on both sides or looking like a, a super, what do you want to call it? symmetrical design for these little butterfly wings. Again, I just kind of go with the feel. I kind of did some sketches last night to get my ideas down, my inspiration. And then I take my notes and then I don't look at those inspiration photos again because, again, I want my work to be original. It's great that we can take inspiration from other artists, but I can't just kind of copy what somebody else has already done, right? That'd be wrong. So I make my notes. I maybe write down a few colors that I'm thinking of using, and then anything else, and just start to work from there. And again, like you can see here, oh, I moved it out of center focus. I'm so sorry, guys. I am going to need a second coat. So I can tell you right now, because we are 15 minutes in and I've already started this, and this is only how far I've gotten in 15 minutes. It's going to take more than today for me to finish this. So don't be surprised. I have a full weekend. It may not be till next week till I get these finished and can upload the finished product for you. So stay tuned. All right. I'm going to pull in, let's see. I don't know that I want to do pink. This is Peacock Plum. This and Mermaid Tail are my favorite turquoises. I absolutely love these shades. And I think we're going to go ahead and border around the rest in areas. And then we'll move from there. As you can see, I'm being similar, but I'm not trying to actually like replicate the same thing on the same side. I am creating balance, so it doesn't feel like it's fallen apart, but it's, again, not the same. And a lot of times, as you guys know, I love to outline everything in black and do accents. I'm really liking the dark navy bluish color. So that may be what I'm going to use as my outlining. We'll see. I've also got some new white gel pens that I've been playing with. The thing with outlining, if I'm going to be using, which I usually use like a fine tip acrylic marker, is that you do have to wait until the paint on your project is fully dry, because otherwise when you're putting a wet marker on top, the wet paint will get on there and it will clog it and it won't work very well. I learned that the hard way. So learn from me, my mistakes. So you can see that some of my dark line is starting to disappear as I'm filling in. That doesn't mean it's going to go away. I will, like I said, I think I really like the idea of using that for my outlining. I really love this gold shimmer background with the light turquoise and the light blue as well. And if I don't like something, I will let you all know. The most difficult part for me about entering into this creative endeavor with paint parties and doing it scared and creating original artwork really is because I lack confidence. And so I don't see myself as an artist. And I'm constantly asking some of my artist groups, does this look like something that's professional that will sell? Or they're like, and I'll say, I don't consider myself an artist. And what I always hear is, why not? You are an artist. And I'm like, oh, I know. I'd be the first one to tell somebody else that creating is artistry, but not very good myself. All right, so I'm going to go back with a little bit more dark blue. I want to actually create a little bit of a definition here. So I'm going to just kind of band this up like that. I might come back and do something else with that, but I didn't like the way that was going. I'm going to thicken up some of my other lines here, adding some more of this dark navy. And then I will be working on some other aspects as well, trying to figure out the rest of the color that I'm going to use. Again, I always, sometimes, oops, that's the wrong color. I'll start with a design and thinking I know, and then I'll go back and change the colors. So you can see this watercolor paper. You are seeing a little bit of warping there. Like I said, that's going to be okay because it's going to be easier for me to do scans of my artwork with a paper backing rather than a canvas. If these were going to be large items, I'm going to take this and like that, then I would be using a canvas. But since they're going to be small, it's just easier this way. I'm going to go ahead and fill in some of these darker areas with my second coat. I think it's going to take an hour just to do this one, y'all, and I'm not even going to be able to get to the finishing touches. But that's okay. It's really funny. Part of the reason I couldn't sleep, I just couldn't sleep. I had this on my mind. I had some other creative ideas on my mind, and I just couldn't shut my brain off, as well as actually having a migraine on top of all of that. It's just a weird night. All right, so I'm going to go back and darken up the plum and the turquoise. So even though this is small, the paint dries pretty fast. I do know some artists like to have a hair dryer or just an air gun so they can go ahead and get it to dry really fast. I just like to work and move on to another section and come back to it. Oh, gosh, I don't need any more big tools that are gonna clutter my desk. Not so sure I actually like that little loop, so that may get painted over. I'll tell you what, if I get this one done, I will, as I finish, I'll try to upload a picture in this, in the discussion for today's event. Remember, all of my Doing It Scared tutorials stay on Facebook for 30 days. And then I do upload them to my website. And eventually they do get uploaded to my YouTube channel. So you can always go back and watch on those platforms as well. I can tell I'm tired. I'm strumbling. Yep, see, I'm stumbling with words. And that's a side effect a lot of times of my migraines. But today, it's just because I haven't slept. So if my daughter Shay out there is watching, she has always had difficulty sleeping, insomnia, and staying asleep. So I hear you, girl. I'm there. I understand now. Well, I understood before, but there's really not sometimes much you can do about it. I mean, I'll go have a relaxing tea when I'm done, but at this point, I'm just like, might as well keep myself busy. If I don't, and I start to slow down, then I feel like I might start to think about the pain or such. Okay, So that's a good start. Like I said, I'm not sure about that twirl up there. You know what though? I'm going to do a similar one here. I'm going to, again, that's the asymmetry balance there. When I started this, I was like, I don't want any swirls because I do swirls a lot, but I'm doing it anyway. And we'll touch up when needed. Always tell yourself, give yourself permission to make mistakes in the beginning. You can always go back and fix those. I mean, not as easily, right, as like some things where, like if you were just using an editor program, you know, where you could just click and change the color and then change it back. I'm not good with that. That takes technology practice, and I don't really do a lot of that. So I'm liking the way this is going. I'm going to go ahead also and do the butterfly body in this dark blue. In fact, yeah, that's about right. I'm going to just dot it in there. There we go. See, easy. Using just a little flat dotting tool. And I'll clean. Going through here. I may even use my metallic gold pen to do some accents. This will give a bolder gold than this sheer gold that I'm using. Some of you may not know that I got back into artwork in my mid to late 50s due to my migraine disease and it taking away my ability to travel. I was a corporate trainer with Royal Caribbean. Miss my team, but I spent a lot of the time in the Philippines and it was very, very difficult for me medically there. I even had pain medicine stolen out of my carry-on bag when I went through one of the security checkpoints. Don't know where because I didn't check after each checkpoint, and a lot of times there's sometimes 3 legs to my flights to get over there. And it was just really, really rough. So it's a little bittersweet coming into this because I gave up. I didn't give up, but I did have an amazing job that I loved. All right, I guess I can go ahead and touch up these. And if I were doing acrylic markers, I probably would be a little more precise, but see, that's why I like paint. It can be perfect if you have that skill and that practice, and maybe, you know, in another 5 years, I will feel like I could accomplish that. But right now, I don't, and that's what always kept me from trying to share work that I've done with other people. Because I just always judge myself against the Mona Lisas, right? And that's not fair. Especially in today's society, creativity is much more than strokes on a canvas. And I was just watching something about the Mona Lisa painting and how it may not be the only one. They found another one, and it looks like his apprentice painted it based off the one that we have in the Louvre. And the colors are brighter. So anyway, that's interesting if you like that kind of interesting stuff. Okay, so I think I am going to move into some larger brushwork. So I'm going to use my medium brush. And I'm not looking to be super accurate, but I am going to take a little bit of this light turquoise. And I'm just going to do some rough brushing. And get some bigger, bolder strokes. And I am doing the bolder strokes, hugging them to the outside and moving my way in. So I've kind of decided that that's what how I'm going to work, is just continue from the outside in, and we'll see where all of this takes us. You can see not very clean edges through here, but like I said before, those can be cleaned up. So we're just getting basic stuff down right now. And I do think I need to add a splash of soft yellow. Who knows? All of these cards might end up being in the same color palette. I think when I come out with card packs, they'll all be in the same color palette, so they have something in common, but each pack might be a little different. We'll see. So I'm going to use this soft yellow. Let me clean it out really good. Actually, I'm going to use, you can see this brush. It's kind of bushy. It's not, it's the same brush as this. It's just been used a few more times, and I didn't get it wet. So I like that. And I'm going to basically, I want you to see. So that's just what I've done there. And I am going to do just some smushies. Okay, so I did some smushies with some yellow. Let's see. Let's pick up some the magenta. Now these, I'm not going to necessarily have to go back over to make them darker, because I want them to be kind of see-through. That's why I also have a base coat down there. All right, let's see. Okay, it's not yellow. Let's do some smushy of the dark turquoise. So I know my goal is to use several different techniques in this. So again, I don't know when I'm going to stop. I don't know when I'm going to start. I just keep working on it until I feel like I'm getting there. So these are all, as you can tell, I'm just adding more dots of yellow here and there. Okay, let's see. All right, I feel like like I do need to put another lighter color. So I'm going to do this Wild Berry. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm using very small drops because I know that I don't need a ton of paint. So I'm going to do the same kind of smushy technique here. Okay, I can honestly tell you this is not coming together the way I'd hope, but as Bob Ross says, they're only happy accidents, right? And again, I have to give myself some grace because I haven't even gotten close to doing the final details. All right, so this to me right through here is very busy. I might smush some of these. Yeah, see, I'm liking that now. See how it's kind of getting this squished together effect. Blending. You still have some definite edges, but you start to see some of the color together. Oops, I blended a little more than I expected there. That's okay. Just tapping with a dry brush over areas that I've already done. Just kind of mixing those palettes together. So it's just kind of picking up paint that I've already used. Just a little bit more here. Just a little tiny bit more of this soft yellow. Okay, so I feel like I've got a big gnarly mess, but I'm gonna go with it. It's gotten a little brighter than I had hoped. I'm gonna take a little bit of light blue now. This is gonna pull some of the color from the edges. So bringing everything together, start doing some smushies as well on the background. The light color that I've made. And then I think I might be close to being a little done with this card, except for final touches, which again are going to come after this is completely dry. So I'll probably wait till the end of the day, let it get really good and dry. And I do want to do a little bit with the bubble wrap, and I'm gonna bring back in the gold. So all I do, you can see I used a yellow color before. I don't have to get a new piece. I can go right over that as well. This is a pretty sheer gold. So it's just going to kind of grace those areas. And you can it's very light. And that's what I want. I don't want it to be overwhelming because I want it to be kind of subtle. We still have the detailing to go and the sticker, so to speak, that we're going to be putting on here with the... Okay. We will see how when we come back to that one. Okay. All right. So that's the butterfly before being finalized, letting it dry at this point. So you will see the next one. I have a note here that says, be yourself. I'm going to put this, I'm going to write it. I should have put it on the washi tape, and I don't know why I didn't. Can I see it? Nope, I can't really see it with that. So I will get my... That's my sticker I'm going to use. All right, put that in there, put that in there. All right, so now I'm going to erase some of these things. Bright greens and blues. I can pretty much tell you, I'm pretty sure every single one of these is going to have some gold in it. I love the gold. I will be honest with y'all. This butterfly might get redone because that is not my favorite. It looks way too busy. Anyway, so you can see my notes here. I'm going to go ahead and erase the notes. I'm going to leave my circles at this time because and the lines, those are my guides, so I will be, you know, filling those in with color. We're going to go with a greens and yellows and turquoises background. I can promise you right now it's not going to have anything like that. It's going to be different. I am, however, going to put a few strokes of gold in the background. And this I can do very easily, and doesn't have to be all in one spot. And when I'm doing it lightly like this, I'm going to be able to easily see my design focus. And like I said, I'm going to do greens and bright yellows, turquoise. So here's the question I have now. Do I do some bright turquoises in there with the big brush? We'll see. All right, let's try it. Noticing that I have to be careful because with a darker color, you can see it's going to do more coverage. So rather than using plain white to mix this in, I'm letting the natural white stay there. So you may still see some white on these pieces when it's done. Usually I always make sure everything's been painted over, but this is my citrus green, adding a pop of brightness. Okay. All right, so you can see I have big circles here, and then I have these hand-drawn stars. So I'm going to do my best to start by outlining the stars so that I can see them, because as this dries, I'll have to fill in those, what do you call it, those spaces, right? Anyway, all right, so taking my tiny brush again and my beautiful deep midnight blue that everyone knows that I absolutely love. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to outline the star or I'm going to just start here. Not a perfect round circle. I do have some things that I rim with. I've got like a prescription bottle that I use, and I'll put paint circles on. And I thought that I was going to fill in these two circles. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to do a couple of strokes of messy circles. And once I do that, if I do have some pencil marks left, it's not going to be as noticeable. Liking this so far. I really didn't mean to do that, but okay, we got to give ourselves permission. I'm going to also do some edges around a few of these colors. And like I said, this may end up a pack, but these each might be inspiration for a color palette or a pack. This is practice. Again, this is the first time I'm trying to put some of this together. Okay. Now, I didn't think I was going to do any white, but I am going to, because I decided I wanted some white for these 3 dots, and I've got another tool that I'm going to use to dot those. They don't come out perfect. Then you see the pencil lines. It's just going to be highlighted over with either an ink pen or something later when it dries. So I have this one. It's about the right size. Again, just doing basically a press. And you can see they're not straight lines. I love imperfections. I think imperfections are perfect. If that makes sense at all. Okay, so far I'm really liking the look of this. All right, so now I need to fill in my stars. So I'm going to go back to my small brush. And because I'm doing the stars in gold, I may have to do 2 or 3 coats, or I will layer it once I get the shape put together. I would prefer to do a dark shading here, but I don't want to be committed to that. So I'm going to outline first, and then I will fill in. Won't necessarily have to be like a perfect fill in. Again, everything here is, the process is that I want it to be just imperfect. My brain's kind of messy, so my art comes out kind of scattered and messy. Oops, my finger there. Oh, I just put it in the white. That's not what I wanted. I want gold. I keep putting my finger in that white. Normally, I would be moving it around to get closer, but I want you guys to have a good image there. We've only got 10 minutes left, so this one will not be finished. So I did not completely finish anything. I don't really care for my butterflies, so I may paint over that in a different way because I don't want to just lose the whole thing. So yeah, as I finish these with details and everything, I'm not going to do a step-by-step with photos, so to speak, but I will take photos when they're completed, and you'll see it'll be all on one sheet because I'll be taking all this washi tape up because that will give me my cut lines where I'm going to have the border. I forgot, I made a protein shake and it's been sitting here. Sorry, I'm going to get a drink real quick. I love chocolate protein shakes. I make it with heavy cream, almond milk. And then I use Keto Chow is my protein. And if I wanted, I could add just a little allulose to make it a little sweeter, but I like it just like that, and I'm lazy. Once the recipe or the concoction gets complicated, yeah, I'm done. So let's see, what time are we at? Okay, still have 10 minutes. Gosh, it felt like 5 minutes just went by. Maybe that's because I haven't slept all night. Okay, I am going to work on filling these in. Like I said, the final look will, I'm going to just go over that. I don't care. It's not going to cover up all of it. It's okay if you can see the hint of that. So these are going to take, again, as you can tell, it's a light gold. It doesn't have a great saturation. So I will do several coats. Now, when you're buying metallic gold, there are a lot of different ones out there. And so, I started with, I think it was 24 karat gold was the name of it. Really bright, and it wasn't too green, it wasn't too yellow. And then I went back to repurchase it, and of course, it wasn't in stock. So then I got this one, which is kind of like, what does it say? It says 14 karat gold, but I look at it more as a sheer champagne gold. So one day I will have every paint color, right? I think that's what every artist hopes for. And it's not that we necessarily think we might need all of them. It's just we want to have it at our disposal if we so choose. As you can tell in the background, yes, we moved in to this new villa in December. I'm still working on getting the studio put together. There's nothing on the walls before. I swear I will start getting some of my projects and stuff on the walls so that you're not just looking at a blank white wall behind me, but it is not going to be this week. There's so many things I still have left to do in this house. 80% unpacked, but then there's those other things that I'm just dragging my feet on. But we're thinking this is going to be our forever home, retirement home, all of that. So hopefully we're going to be here a good long time, and I won't be packing up. So I can, in a couple of years, I'll have everything set and organized the way I want. Maybe some closet organizers. Oh, just the dreams, lighting and such. Okay. So it is 11:54. I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera back around to me. And I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for the day. Again, these are not going to get completely finished, so keep checking back in the discussion on this event page. Remember, the video is going to be available for free for 30 days, and then you can get it for free on my website, which is www.passport-creative.com. And then I also have a YouTube channel, which I need to link in here, so I will do that shortly. Anyway, guys, it's been great creating with you today. Thank you for being with me with Doing It Scared. I've got 4 more scared paintings to work on. And if you ever get inspiration and you start creating, please share it. I really, really want my group page to be a community where you can share your creations. It's all love, no harshness, just the love for creativity and train your mind through art. So have a wonderful day. Love y'all. And I'll see you next time here at Doing It Scared.